Hi, readers. We're on chapter 3 of Wallace and Grace and the Owl-o-ween mystery. I still have my little owls on my cheeks, and I'm ready to keep reading because I really want to find out whose original idea was it to be a space pirate. I added some more things from last time, keeping track of Wallace and Grace and who they are as characters. That Grace likes to dress up. Remember, she loved the mashup idea about combining two costumes together. She kept her hat on. She even was a witch mermaid. And then I put Wallace does this really cool thing. He uses a notebook to keep track of his ideas, and that actually helped them out to figure out what to do next on this case. Before we read chapter 3, which is called The Clue, remember we read I See 3 in the mashup. The clue, remember this is the chapter we think that they might solve it. I might read it in like a surprise kind of voice. I'll retell what happened in chapter 1 and chapter 2 so I can think about everything that's happened in this story. So first, in chapter 1, Wallace and Grace throw a Halloween party where they have a costume contest. The most original costume will win a pie. Now there are 3 people who have the same costume. Let me see if I can find that page. Mateo, Lucas, and Ava. And in chapter 1, Wallace and Grace decide to solve who came up with this original costume idea, because whoever did will be the winner. Then in chapter 2, they interrogated everyone, and they came up with the idea in the end, because of Wallace's note-taking skills, that they need to figure out what time everyone came up with their idea, and that will help them solve the mystery. Okay, let's start with chapter 3, The Clue. They needed a timeline. If they knew what time each costume was made, they would know who was first. They called Cousin Caleb to their office. He stood in front of Wallace's desk. What time did Lucas go shopping in your closet? Grace asked Caleb. When the moon was here. Caleb drew a picture of the sky in Wallace's notebook. Then they called in Monty Chipmunk. Monty lived in the picnic area. Ava's searches in the garbage can at the same time every night. Monty crossed his little arms. She thinks she's being quiet, but she always wakes me up. So rude. Monty drew a picture too. The moon was this high. Most certainly, he said. The squirrel shopkeeper came in next. I looked out the window when Mateo was in my store, she said. Isn't it interesting that they're keeping track of time by how high the moon is in the sky? Because they're animals and they probably don't have a clock to tell time. Let's see what she says about Mateo. I saw the sun setting. There was no moon out yet. She drew her own picture. Wallace showed Grace all the pictures. We solved the case, she cried. Mateo put together his costume mashup before the moon was out. Mateo was first. His costume was original. She did a celebration dance. Shake, shake, flap, flap. She tossed her hat in the air. They called Mateo in. Grace handed him the blueberry pie. Stop, stop! Ava and Lucas stood in their doorways. It's the 2 copycats, said Wallace. Cats? Where? Lucas looked around. Did you see what happened there? I'm going to stop and think about this. When somebody's calling you a copycat, it means you're just a person that copies. But then Lucas is like, cats? What are you talking about? But it's just an expression. Here, you, said Wallace. Okay, you're not cats. But copy fox and copy possum don't sound as good. That pie is ours too, Lucas grabbed for the pie. Oh no, oh no, look what happens. No, it's not. Mateo pulled it away. Those owl detectives have no proof we copied. Ava swiped for the pie, too. Splat. The pie smashed to the floor. The crust crumbled. Blueberry gushed out. Okay, stop and think with me. Oh, I guess now I understand what they're saying. So the other two are saying they have no proof that they actually copied. Like, why does it matter what time of day they came up with the idea if they didn't really copy after Mateo? This is making me think. My pie! Cried Wallace. Grace tried to sweep up the mess with her witch's broom. Then she made Lucas, Mateo, and Ava wait outside. Wallace turned to Grace. They are right. To solve the case, we need proof, they copied Mateo. How do we find proof? Grace asked. I'm putting on my thinking cap. So look, her thinking cap is her witch hat. Wallace took his lucky baseball cap from the drawer in his desk. I already have my thinking cap. No, I already have on my thinking cap, said Grace. A witch's hat is not a thinking cap, said Wallace. Just saying. Oh, Wallace. This hat has many powers, just like this broom. Grace waited for her hat to work. And waited. Got anything? Asked Wallace. Nope. You? Asked Grace. Nope. I need a snack. Wallace opened another drawer. He took out a blue pot of honey. Whoa, the honey pot. It's a clue, said Grace. Honey pot. Wallace wrote in his notebook. Then he scratched his head. How was the honey pot a clue? I'm trying to think how the honey pot is a clue too. I remember the possum ate something with the honey pot. Let's keep reading. We're going to read chapter 4 today too, and we'll finish our story. Okay, look at what he's thinking in the picture before I start. Oh, Grace is also thinking something too. Wait a minute. Do you see what I'm seeing in this picture? It's kind of funny the owls are on too. Honey pot? Honey pot. But what does that mean? Let's keep going. Through the window. Lucas and Ava both had blue pots of honey, said Grace. Do you remember seeing them? I do, said Wallace. Good detectives notice everything. Sometimes something small can help us solve a case. The honey store was across from the costume store. They had seen the same blue pots in their window. Yoy! Cried Wallace. Follow the clue. They flew to the honey store. A shaggy brown bear welcomed them. Wallace and Grace looked out the store's big window. I can see into the costume store. Wallace pointed to the tall mirror. Oh, I can see that in the picture too. Mateo stood in front of the mirror when he made his costume mashup, said Grace. Wallace opened his notebook. That happened at sunset. Grace turned to the bear. Who was in here yesterday at sunset? Lucas and his cousin. They were on their way home from a swim in the stream, said the bear. They bought a pot of honey. Who else? Asked Grace. Ava came in after they left. She sat in front of that window. Then she bought some honey, said the bear. She was on her way to the picnic area. Did you look out the window while they were here? Asked Grace. Oh, yes. I saw Mateo. First he was a pirate, then an astronaut. Back and forth, said the bear. We all watched him. Here's our proof, Grace grinned. They hurried back to the Night Owl Detective Agency. Lucas, Mateo, and Ava were waiting. You see that? They figured out that Ava and Lucas looked at Mateo when he was at the store getting dressed into his pirate and astronaut outfit. Okay, let's see what they say. Lucas and Ava, the bear saw you both watch Mateo through the window. After that, you made your space pirate costumes, said Wallace. The bear is our proof. Lucas gulped. You're right. I copied because I thought Mateo's space pirate costume was so cool. What about you, Ava? Asked Grace. Ava? Ava? Oh no. Ava had flopped over. She lay stiff on the ground. Her tongue hung out. What? Call a doctor, cried Grace. Don't worry, said Wallace. She's just pretending to be asleep. Possums do that when they're scared. Why is she so scared? Asked Mateo. Ava opened her eyes and sat up. Because I copied your costume too. But I only copied it because I liked it. Mateo's idea was his, and it was special. You should have asked him first, said Grace. I'm angry you both lied about it. Wallace thought lying was worse than copying. That's something I should write down about Wallace, too. We live in the great woods together. We need to be honest and trust one another, added Grace. I'm sorry, said Ava. I'm sorry, too, said Luke. I'm glad you finally told the truth, said Mateo. And I'm flattered you liked my style so much. Flattered is another big word, Grace told Wallace. It means he feels honored. Good to know, said Wallace. Then he snapped Mateo's picture and pinned it to the old tree for everyone to see, everyone in the great woods to see. Mateo is the winner, he said. Luke and Ava clapped and cheered. Wait here. Grace flew off. She came back with 3 blueberry pies. Which one is not like the other? She asked Wallace. Wallace looked at the pies. This one. He poked his beak into the last pie and pulled out a long, slimy earthworm. Slurp? Oh my gosh, now I see it. Can you see it too? Look at that earthworm. I got you a blueberry earthworm pie, said Grace. Best friends do that. Ooh, I'm going to make a note of that too, that Grace made Wallace a pie because they're best friends. Grace gave the 2 other pies to Mateo. Both for me? He asked. You can eat one now and save one for later, said Grace. Mateo thought saving one was no fun. He shared both pies with Lucas, Caleb, Ava, Monty, and the shopkeeper squirrel. The Owl-o-ween mystery was solved. Grace did her celebration dance. This time, Wallace joined in. Best friends do that. Oh, look, they're all enjoying the pie. And that's the end of the story. Think about if your prediction was true on who had the most original costume.